Hello there, I'm G, and this is the smooth, relaxing jazz of Layton Brothers Mystery Room for iOS. It is a universal app, so it is also available on smaller iOS devices other than the iPad. However, I highly recommend you do play it on the iPad because the sprites in this game are wonderfully crisp, and I really don't think those smaller screens will do it any justice. But before we begin, if you are a fan of Professor Layton, you are going to be disappointed. This game was not given the Layton moniker until quite late in its development, and it shows. In fact, if anything, it's much more similar to the Ace Attorney series, but we'll get on to that once we're in there. First, I will just explain why this game isn't as free as it may initially appear. So let's just load up this file here. Yes. So much like Capcom's Ghost Trick, this game is in the free section of the App Store. However, it is not exactly free. What you're getting is a demo. These first three cases, this one of which is just a very short cutscene, are part of the package. But if you want more, you will have to go back to the title screen and buy each section separately. Well, I say separately, you get them in two little bundles, which, unlike Ghost Trick, are actually quite reasonably priced. The first one is £2 and the second one is £1.50. So you're looking at, £3.50 for the full game. And given what I've played so far, this game is more than worth that price of admission. Why they didn't just put it up for £3, I don't know. Even on the App Store, that's not a crazy price to put a game up at. Especially when it's one with production values on par with this title. So let's just get in there. As this is a story-driven game, I am not going to play the point that I'm currently up to. I will play the first, essentially the tutorial, this case here. Start anew. I'll try and get through the full thing in this video within about 30 minutes, but who knows how long it will take. Ostensibly, this is a visual novel, as in there is lots of dialogue and not that much interaction with the player. So I will attempt to keep my commentary going throughout, but it's kind of difficult with these kind of games. Anyway, this is your character. I believe her name is Lucy Baker. She is a rookie cop assigned to work with... Hang on, it's coming. The true culprit of the crime is... you! This fellow here. Well, I'm Lucy. I mean Baker. Lucy Baker. Yeah, I'm a new assistant. And who could this be? Oh, he's going to introduce himself. Alfrendi Layton, son of the Professor Layton, as of which he will mention at some point. Alfrendi, by the way, not a very popular name here in the UK. In fact, I've never heard anyone called it ever, which is strange, as I'm fairly certain Professor Layton is set in the UK, as I do believe they are in Scotland Yard at this moment. But, it's Japanese England, which means anything's possible, essentially. Yeah, this is kind of awkward, this bit. Oh, how about I'll nickname you Prof? That's not a nickname. People don't call professors Prof. At least not in any professor I've encountered, anyway. It's purely so they could put this bit in. I'm not entirely sure that's appropriate. Certainly my father, who is an actual professor, would not approve. Get it? He's the son of Professor Layton, if you didn't know. So far, this is the only connection to the core Professor Layton franchise that I've noticed in this game. And again, I feel that's what makes it fairly evident that this was not a Professor Layton game when it first started out. It is in fact far more similar, as I said before, to the Ace Attorney franchise. Now, I'm a fan of Ace Attorney, but there are many things about that franchise that really tick me off. And so far, this game has largely subverted a lot of those tropes, so it's got me hooked, I'll have to say. This first case is a bit slow, and it takes a while to really get into rhythm, but many of these visual novel style games do. Also like how snappy it is, Part of my problems with Ace Attorney is that it takes forever for anything to happen. With this one, it's just This is like a couple of minutes in, it's just, okay, here's the case, here's what's happened, solve the case. You know, they don't mess around. So here's my three suspects, B.A. Baracus, Poshman, and Large Lady. This game has a far darker tone than Ace Attorney in places as well. I don't want to elaborate on that too much, you'll just have to wait and see for yourself. They're much more upfront about the fact, like, yeah, we're investigating a murder, someone died here. Ace Attorney tends to kind of brush over that a lot. Death doesn't seem to have much consequence in that universe. Let's talk you through the case. Happened a few days ago in a hotel. It's like a looking place. I really like the writing in this game. It has... characters have a certain... how to put it? They have little inflections in the way they talk. Like, you can tell that Lucy is far less posh than the Layton brothers. And it comes across in her dialogue. I'll try and point something out like that once I see it. The victim is this woman, Sandy Aldwych. And you'll see why that's a very amusing pun in a moment. Look, she's ordering a sandwich. Get it? Sandy Aldwych. Yes, they borrowed the innovative pun mechanics of Ace Attorney as well as its gameplay. Although that said, maybe puns are a big thing in Professor Layton as well. I wouldn't know. I don't really play those games. I'm more of a puzzle agent man. Puzzle agent being freaking amazing. Oh no, BA is confused. Man claiming to be Sandy Aldwich's lover. Apologies if I'm going through this too quickly, it's kind of hard to predict how fast you're going to read this. Then the cleaning lady came in, she drew back the curtains and noticed the dead body. She'd been strangled to death. Oh no! Look how scared she is. Oh, and the corpse, for some reason, has a hand inside a sandwich. What could that possibly mean? It's kind of a ridiculous premise. And that's kind of what put me off at first with this game. Part of what had led me to be largely disillusioned with the Ace Attorney franchise is how convoluted and ridiculous some of the solutions are. And I don't mind ridiculous, but when it's asking you to solve a puzzle and the solution is just so completely out there and illogical that you'll never get it without just randomly clicking stuff, you know, it's not very satisfying. It's kind of the same problem a lot of people had with the old LucasArts adventure games. I love how intently that man is staring at something. Look, something is really interesting him. He is either surprised or just utterly riveted by something. So the curtains were closed so we couldn't see the body. But is that an alibi? It's the guy who brought her the sandwich. I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Zach Carrier? Carrier? I don't know. I assume it's meant to be French. He has a kind of Frenchish accent. Look, the way Lucy speaks, it's like he saw Aldwych when she was still alive. And technically that's bad English, but it's an accurate representation of how some people speak over here. And I always like it when they try and bring out accents and unique ways of speaking in written dialogue. A lot of games tend to ignore it and just everyone ends up feeling the same. Which is one of the many things that the Ace Attorney franchise also is quite fond of. I mean, bringing out the inflections, not having bland dialogue. If there's one thing that series is very good at, it is dialogue. So just go to the body. Oh look! Case files. Almost like a certain other game that I will no doubt mention many, many times throughout this video. Oh look, it's listing each statement separately, as if there's some way to kind of cross-reference maybe those statements. Let's just skip through tutorial stuff a little. Crime scenes available for inspection? How's this? For some reason, Layton the Younger has this amazing crime scene reconstruction room that can recreate to immaculate detail an entire crime scene. It's never really explained how it works or why he has it. Just that he has one. I guess it's just an excuse for them not to have lots of environments. You just say, yeah, here's this 3D model mock-up. It looks kind of crummy because, well, it's a mock-up. So to analyze the crime scene, you're given 5 minutes initially. I don't know why, because it doesn't seem to matter. You don't have enough clues at this point to solve the crime either way. And the time limit gets paused every time you examine something, so it's kind of irrelevant. But anyway, let's get in there. Yes, I know the controls. Now, thankfully, unlike a certain other franchise, finding evidence in a crime scene is very straightforward and quick. There's no pixel hunting, you just zoom in on an element you want to analyze. Once you get through this stupid tutorial stuff, you go like, oh, there's the corpse. Okay, corpse entered to evidence. There, done. No, oh, let's inch ever so slightly to the left. Can I use this pixel? No. That's just the background. Can I examine this ladder? No. So we've got a fried fish discarded, we've got the table. A lot of these items will be inconsequential. It's kind of a case of sussing out what actually matters and what doesn't, which is fun. So let's zoom in a bit. Oh, what's down here? A receipt. It's a receipt for the sandwich and the juice. It's signed Bosco Phelps, but the handwriting is in Altwich's handwriting. I see. So she's signed on behalf of someone else. Zoom out. I like how it just says a tick there. Like, you got everything. You found it. Great. Move on to somewhere else. Don't go round in circles. Again, like a certain other franchise would have you do so. The method for actually scrolling through this 3D model is very strange. Normally, in a game like this, you just touch down somewhere and drag, but that rotates. Instead, you have to do a two-finger touch, and that allows you to move around. It's very strange. It's kind of reminiscent of, let's say, a Japanese developer that is maybe not used to making iOS games. But whatever, they did a good job with most of this game. I can't really complain that much. Oh, there is a tie hidden in this tree. Goblin increased, showing signs of having been pulled very tightly. Almost as if it was some kind of murder weapon. Let's see what's over here. Deck chair. I'm going to start going through these a bit faster. Because we don't have all day, sadly. I don't want to bore you guys. More than I have already, of course. Curtains. Well, that's all the evidence here. So let's name the culprit. Now, you don't actually have enough to actually figure out who it is. It's more just a test, really. So who do you think did it? Let's say it was this woman, the woman who found the corpse. Oh, whoops, no, I don't want to escape. Ta-dum. What's your reasoning? Because she was the one who discovered the body. That's it. Oh, aye. That's how she speaks, by the way. I've decided. The one who discovered the body is always the prime suspect. First year of detective school, that. I do like how laid back this detective guy is. These nice little effects like this are great. It's like, I'm 97.6% sure of the killer's identity. Doesn't add anything to the gameplay at all, but it's just nice. The music in this is pretty phenomenal as well. Very relaxing, very suave. I don't know if that's a common thing in the Layton franchise or not. Aye, this were a crime of passion. Look, it's BA! What, who said anything about crime of passion? See, this is very fun. This is the way they represent kind of arguments and accusations. That heart represents a secret that they're holding from the person talking. And so she will kind of shoot her accusations or comments at them, and it will either bounce off them or it'll try and pierce that barrier. Oh look, he said fool, because he is of course a black man who looks like B.A. Baracus. What's your problem with me, huh? What have I done wrong? Who are you? Hiding your name? Hiding the guilt? I love visual representations of dialogue, it's very strange. Oh, he pities the fool. Yes, this game is anything but subtle about its references. He swears he's done nothing to break the law. That's quite suspicious. He's got his business to think about. I don't know what Mr. Top means. It's an accusation of some kind. Bad press. Implicated. Bum bum. I kind of wish that was part of a minigame where you had to kind of fling the comments at them, but I guess that would be getting a little too complicated. Free to go then. What's that smell? It's that aftershave again. Be around. Oh, she's so witty. Time for another interview. Who will you be interviewing? It's the other suspect, Mr. Zack. Oui, that is my name. Again, very flowery, eloquent writing. I love it. Inquiries? He's a great fan of crime fiction. He has things to say about the case. It's about the sandwich. Ah, these sprites are so nice. The ham sandwich. So this is where the game starts getting interesting, where you get to examine evidence close up and start to try and draw some conclusions. It would make more sense if this bit was timed, but for some reason it isn't. Deductions. So the portrait in the middle there is who did it. And by making deductions about pieces of evidence, you'll eventually build up the picture until you know for sure who is there. So let's investigate the corpse first, as that's the only thing available. And if you wish, you can re-examine the crime scene to build up your case. Examine the body. Yes. Apologies, this is going slightly slower than I imagined, but it's a very slow-paced game, so I guess you're getting a good impression of what it's like to play this. Start investigating. Investigate the body. Oh, too far. It's a dead body. Strangled with a long, thin, strap-like object. Obviously, as this is the first case, it's very straightforward in a lot of ways. What is posterior strangulation? Clearly that is squeezing someone's bottom. Wrong. That would hardly be life-threatening, would it? Would be if someone tried it on me. Let's see. I believe it is in fact throttling from behind. There is no lose condition in this game as far as I can surmise. So you essentially just keep on going until you get the correct solution, which I'm fine with. That always frustrated me in Ace Attorney. I'm just like, I can't figure this out, I'm gonna have to brute force it. Oh no, I got game over, time to go back to the last rubbishy checkpoint, which was 2 hours ago or something ridiculous. Okay, so now we've got the hint thing. The murder weapon. See if we can uncover the murder weapon. But now I've done that, it should unlock hints. And hints are kind of cool. They're nice little extra bits of writing that give you a little bit more information about parts of the case. So I'm just going to try and go to one of those. Blah blah blah, yes I know. See, we can go to statements for instance. And then go hint. And then you have this nice little extra bit of dialogue analysing whatever the piece of evidence is. It's nice, there's some good little story segments hidden in there. A lot of it's not significant at all, it's just a bit of fluff. I'm all for fluff. Oh, a thin strap-like item. What could that be? Yes, start investigating. And we, of course, found the tie over here in this bush. This is the weapon. Potted necktie. The murder weapon. Oh-ho! It turns out BA is in fact Bosco Phelps. The name's signed on that receipt. And the woman's lover. Bayek, how do you know his name? Well, it seems they were confident. So, BA was too violent and she'd come to the hotel to escape him. Oh, that's mighty suspicious. It also explained why he didn't give us his name when we first investigated him. But it seems he has some kind of shield around his heart. It's as if he's hiding something as well. Ooh, the ham sandwich. Update. Bosco Phelps. I don't like how it goes through each bit of evidence, having to change the name. It's like, you only really needed to do this once. You don't need to go through every evidence card and go, update! The name? Yeah. Well, I guess that's Japanese game design for you. It's all about friction and making things far more awkward than they actually need to be. Dead fishy. Let's examine the sandwich first and foremost. Trying to establish what a hand in there is trying to tell us. So now we can examine the sandwich slightly closer. Perhaps some kind of dying message. So this is the part of the game where I was about ready to turn off. I was like, no, not this crap. It's like, oh, in her dying breath, she left a clue to the murderer. It's the kind of thing that started to put me off Ace Attorney so much. That's so far removed from reality. When someone's being strangled to death, I don't generally think, oh, I must move my hands in such a fashion that it will leave a message that can help the police eventually catch my killer. Usually they're more thinking along the lines of, oh my god, someone is strangling me. I wish they wouldn't do that. So now I can take a closer look at the sandwich. So at this moment in time I was thinking, oh no, what's this? Oh, this is getting silly now. Oh, there's a bit of lettuce, some smoked salmon. Just look at how this is written. There are a fair few slices in this sandwich, adding to the overall volume. They could have written that a million other ways that are far more bland and more straightforward, but they went for the more interesting and eloquent way of saying it, and I'm always behind that. More games writing needs to be like this. The yolk is firm from the egg, having been boiled for a sufficiently long time. Classy writing. Classy writing right there. They have a unique smell and flavour that is an acquired taste. Most other games it would be, it's a pickle. People don't like pickles. Look over it now. I have that. What's the reason for her hand being in the sandwich? Where the hand is in there, if you see what I mean. The sandwich is a pickle egg. Let's take another track. What she might have been trying to convey with her dying message. Yeah, I was on the verge of turning the iPad off at this point. It's like, no, she's not trying to say what the killer's name is she? Exactly! Oh. Why do you think that? I think I went through each of all of these and got them wrong, apart from the last one, because I thought, no, this is dumb. This is really dumb. The sandwich filling order? Exactly! She's spelling out the killer's name with the filling of the sandwich. Oh, God. Yes, because when you're dying, you think, I must rearrange this sandwich. Naming the crook. Filled with meaning. Oh, it seemed like those comments bounced off his shield. As if he is still hiding something. So whose name does that spell out? It spells out Phelps. When you take the first letter of each filling and include H for hand. Never read a sardine before, but this one spells out Phelps. Busted by Butty, her lover. Dun. And again, it goes through each individual bit of evidence going, oh, this spells out H, this spells out P. Dear Japanese game developers, you don't need to do this. Gamers are smart people. We will figure it out. There's no need to go through each and everything. Okay, so now this guy's going to go away, and we're going to decide who the criminal was. I'm going to skip through this because this video has gone on for quite a while at this point, and I want to get to the conclusion of this case. We're pretty near the end, honest. So we know who the culprit is now, correct? Who do you think killed her? So at this point I was like, oh, clearly it wants me to say Bosco Phelps, but god damn it. That's ridiculous. The idea that someone would spell out their killer's name with a sandwich. So I just, out of frustration, I went, clearly he's the villain because he would just make that up. And then it's like, why yes, you are correct. And then I was suddenly back on board. They just even say, it's like, that's heavily contrived. That's silly. No one would do that. Did realize, don't you? Okay then. Let's examine the dying message slightly closer. What inconsistency could there be? Other than it's ridiculous that someone would spell out their killer's name with a sandwich whilst being strangled. So let's just skip through this. Start investigating, yes. Find proof the message is fake. What could it be? Now, I'm just going to go straight to the thing I know that proves it, because, again, this video is long already. Let's see this receipt. Oh! Phelps, as in F-E-L-P-S. Here's the proof. This is it. That's right, I'm glad you spotted it. What is it that makes it clear that it proves the sandwich theory is fake? The spelling of the name. Phelps is spelled with an F. So having pickles and hand in the sandwich would mean she wasn't spelling it correctly. But it's her lover. Clearly she would know how to spell it. Which would imply someone who didn't know him very well actually set up the sandwich. Someone like the guy we were just speaking to, for instance. All done. Yes, we now have proof that Phelps is spelled with an F and not a PH. Update. And again goes through each card going, update, update. It was Zach, no question. We need to find decisive evidence. And now comes the conclusion. Cherie's mistake. Evidence is all right there. Evidence that showed why I had to put her hand in the sandwich. So, normally to figure this one out, you'd have to go through the case files and think about what's been said so far in the game, but I'm just going to go straight to the solution. The solution is the smell of perfume. The waiter wore very strong aftershave. 100%. Call him back in here. Consider it done. Now to the conclusion. We must break down his barriers. It's time to crack him. Such great music. I want this as an official soundtrack. I hope you're listening, Level 5. Clearly you watch this channel. What's all this? Arrested Phelps? Oh, it bounced right off. A new killer. Oh, his barrier's cracking. Real killer is... Clearly it's this woman. No, it's Zack. Spoilers, it's Zack. The real killer is you, Mr. Zack. Mon Dieu! I cannot believe what I am hearing. That's yesterday's news. The tie, it all points to him. The message. It's a sham, fabricated evidence. Oh no, it bounced off. Show it to me, I do not believe you. What proves it was Outward who made the dying message? It was the receipt with a different name spelling. Oh, it's nearly gone. Exactly. So I gave this paper to the woman in the first place. Touché. What can it possibly prove? Look for yourself. Signed by Bosco Phelps and... Oh, no. Spelling gaff. I love his name, spelling gaff. She'd know that much. Boof, boof, boof. It's her dying message. Consider the facts. It's no surprise she made an error. Boof, boof. Would make perfect sense. She was in a panic. Then something else doesn't make sense at all. What is that? What piece of evidence could she be referring to? Once again, this would be a bit where you'd go through the case files and go, oh, what could it be? But here, I already know. It's the fried fish. If she was trying to make a message, she would have used the fried fish for the F, rather than using PH, pickles in hand. Because it would have been faster, but still no less stupid. No. Anyone knew the proper spelling of Phelps would have taken out the fish finger and stuck it in her hand. And you're done. Take out the pickles. Don't need a PhD. Oh, there's only a tiny bit left. It's also a little too hard to believe. Which it is. It really is. Time to kill. Yukari, a step too far. Shut up, silence. French thing I can't pronounce. No proof, not me. Guesswork. Oh. No proof. And then the final piece of evidence. So another victim for making sure the victim's hand was in the sandwich. To disguise a smell, let's say, such as a very strong aftershave. His barrier is gone. Sweet smell, powerful scent. Pongy hand, put up a fight. Need something to disguise the smell. Put a hand in the sandwich so it would get covered in pickle juice. But you, the victim of having a hand in a sandwich, would raise too many questions. So you created a diversion in the form of a dying message. No. Where's the proof? Never. We have proof. I'm not mistaken. Miss Sandwich must have left a mark on you. The wound where she would grab you when the aftershave rubbed off on your hand, or her hand. You have no basis to say this. Can you see such a wound, Earl? Because you're hiding it. You're hiding it. Again, look at his counter model. Seems to be wearing something around his neck. It's to hide the wound. Doof. Just needlessly flashy, I love it. It's on your neck. First impression. Which way you wear your neck, Chief? And it's a theory, but I'd be willing to bet wearing it like that to cover up a wound. No, no, no. Oops. Points. Visible proof. I know. She used to blame. I'm innocent. Brought it on herself. She was. All my savings in just 1 month. You were paying her money, were you? Our job is done. Case is closed. Lawyers can take over from here. Mystery solved! And that is Layton Brothers, The Mystery Room. I really, really like this game. I'm very much looking forward to see what direction it goes in the later cases. Highly recommend if you're a fan of the Ace Attorney series, you pick it up. So far I think it's correcting a lot of mistakes that franchise has failed to correct on over the years. If you're a Layton fan, maybe this isn't for you. I'd highly recommend Puzzle Agent, which is along the same lines but a bit kind of weirder in a lot of places. It's partially based on Twin Peaks, so, you know, it gets a bit funky. But yeah, that's this game. Thank you for watching all the way through this gargantuan video, which I'm sure has come to like 40 minutes or something ridiculous. Anyway, I'll see you next time.